full plate. What can I say? So, you know, if there wasn't both ends of the candle,
There would be a candle.
you know, it's burning. So,
Alrighty. All right, 7 p.m. in Gardner, Kansas. We'll call the Gardner City Council meeting to order. Please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, on this day after the Martin Luther King holiday and day of service, and the night before the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States, we have a pretty light schedule this evening. We do have a presentation to start off, Gardner Land Bank Annual Report. Matt Wolf. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The Land Bank is required to provide an annual report to the governing body every year. The report should account for all receipts, disbursements, and property transactions. The Land Bank currently has no properties, and there were no property transactions last year. The Land Bank received $5,000 in initial funding from the general fund in the prior year. In 2020, the Land Bank earned $47.21 in interest on idle funds. As of January 19, 2021, no funds have been spent. The Land Bank's financial records will be audited as part of the city's 2020 audit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Any questions for Finance Director Wolf on the Land Bank? Seeing none, we'll move on to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. For those in attendance, if you wish to come forward, there is a 5-minute time limit. This clock is not working, so what's going to happen is that our city clerk will keep the time on her clock, and we'll let you know if you have a minute or 30 seconds left so you can wrap up your comments. No profanity, no personal attacks. Other than that, the microphone is open. If you wish to come forward, speak your name and address for the record.
My name is Kenneth Mull, 101 Apache Lane. I've been here all my life. I love Gardner. I've worked hard as a realtor for 50 years, selling a lot of these properties. Can't believe what they bring. But I got a project I've worked on for about 30 years, and I keep changing it because times change. Number one, I'd like to see an overpass put over Clare Road and the railroad tracks on the industrial parkway at the cost of the railroad. Their way, that traffic has been bad there for my entire life. I would like to see a roundabout put at the end of, from the lumber yard there west, that goes over into White Drive, a big turnaround roundabout there. And the main one I'd like to see done is a new overpass built at the end of about 188th Street East and High View Drive, called the High View Drive Overpass. Double laned, 2 lanes over here, 2 over here. Big roundabouts so semis can get in and out of there. And it's all dirt now. Some of it's in the city, but most of it isn't. Would be an ideal place to have a brand new one. The one we have on Gardner Road is a disaster and has been for 30 years. And upon building this new one, I would propose that the ingresses and egresses off of I-35 on Gardner Road be closed permanently, because that would take care of, they could exit to Moonlight, 183rd Street, 188th Street, 191st Street, Moonlight Road, and would give a lot of access. And we really, with our town growing to the south, we do not need to bottleneck that mess down there. And I live on 101 Apache, and fire trucks and emergency vehicles going up and down there all the time. So I know they're having a lot of problems. So the other thing that I'd like to see maybe is something done about the truck traffic. We have a lot of that. We need it. It's a natural thing. But if we could move that up there between those Moonlight Road and Gardner Road and all that open ground, we could do about whatever we need to do to help them boys out too. I thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Ted. Anyone else? We did receive one public comment in the city clerk's email. Just as a reminder, if you wish to bring public comment to the governing body, you can do that. We still follow the same guidelines as we would normally follow. No profanity, no personal attacks. Try to keep your comments short. But as such, I will read this into the record. This is from Nicole Beaton, 18401 Ash Street in Gardner. Dear Mayor Shute and members of the Gardner governing body, we're fortunate here in Gardner to live close enough to the Capitol and Topeka to participate in our state's governance and to have access to information from Washington, D.C. in real time from multiple sources, even if we can't get there ourselves. But day to day, our lives and families are rooted in this city and what happens literally on Main Street. Local leadership matters. None of you would be sitting in these chairs if you thought that wasn't true. Personal investment in the ideals of our country matter too. We elect people who serve in the armed forces, support our police and fire departments, and issue proclamations in support of the U.S. Census and Martin Luther King Day. Our own mayor served as a poll observer back in November. Unfortunately, following the events of January 6th, many cities are learning that their local leadership does not support the results of a lawful election that will soon place a photograph of President-elect Joe Biden in these chambers. Some are even discovering evidence that people who hold positions of trust in their communities committed violence and are being charged with sedition. I request from each of you a clear statement for the public record regarding your presence at the Capitol on January 6th and your support for the upcoming peaceful transition of power. I'm not alone in my desire for reassurance and accountability from those elected to serve our city. Thank you for reading this on my behalf, and thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Nicole Beaton. All right, well, having said that, I will leave it to the members of the governing body to make any kind of proclamation they wish to make.
Well, I'll make a comment. No, I of course was not in Washington on the protest day, and it's part of the transition, I think, is to be peaceful. So yes, I would support a peaceful transition.
Right.
I was not there, and I support peaceful transition.
I can't afford to be there, so I wasn't there. But I absolutely support the transfer of power, and I also support the freedom of individuals to peacefully assemble, because that's part of our First Amendment rights. I will condemn categorically any kind of political violence, period, in all forms. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was not in Washington, D.C. I was in my office diligently working to support my family. I do support a peaceful protest on whoever's behalf, as long as it's peaceful, which is the key word in the Constitution. And I do appreciate Nicole's comment.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, then we will move on. Let's move on to, there's nothing on the, there's just something on the consent agenda. Does anyone in the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Gregorczyk, second Baldwin, that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? Consent agenda passes. Nothing on planning and zoning consent. Committee recommendation item number 1. Consider authorizing execution of a contract for the belt press replacement at Kill Creek wastewater treatment facility project. Lons Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. As you probably know, Kill Creek Water Resource Recovery Facility has been in service for almost 20 years. The facility has an aerobic digester that allows organics and inorganics to grow and accumulate. The remaining solids within the sludge are composed of inert organic compounds. The original design of the plant was to use some drying basins for dewatering this sludge. It had a efficiency of a dryness of 8%. In 2010, the city purchased a used but refurbished belt press. And that helped in achieving a 12% dryness. But like I said, the belt press was used, and I think it's about 30 years old now. So we're looking at different methods of getting a drier sludge. We look at belt presses and a screw-type press. And the the bids were based on a screw-type press, which can achieve up to 16% dryness. So you be actually removing more water, and actually you have solids. So the screw-type press has a greater dewatering capability of vial sludge and less maintenance and man-hour to operate the process of the plant. Right now we have to keep a operator in front of the belt press because the actual belt can move, so we have to keep a man anywhere between 4 to 6 hours while the press is running. With the screw-type press, that won't happen. So we can run the screw-type press with no persons monitoring the running of the press. So we requested some proposals. We received 4 proposals. The low bid proposal was Mega KS Corporation. Their proposal did not follow our specifications. They provided a screw-type pump that had less capacity. It marginally met the dryness. It was close to 14%. And didn't have safety feature for the operation of the screw-type pump. So that was disqualified. Then we look at Crossland Heavy Contractors, and they met the specifications, and we're recommending that a contract be awarded to them for a belt press in the amount not to exceed $442,000. The other thing is that we may be able to sell the old press and get lower the expenditure.
That's good. That was one of the questions I had. Thank you very much, Brian. Any public comment on new business item, or sorry, committee recommendation item? Seeing none, any questions from council for Gons?
Whenever we have a bid that comes in that doesn't meet the criteria, and in this case is similar, but it didn't meet the exact specs, do we ever reach back out and find out if they are doing that on purpose to not be in the running, or if they really do want to put in a good bid? Do we make that effort or not?
We just compared the actual, what they're proposing to the other proposals. And what they were proposing was a smaller screw-type press that we didn't feel it was going to meet our requirements. So that's why they were disqualified.
No, I agree with the disqualification and, with the bidding process.
But then we usually send a letter to the vendors that were not awarded, and we send a letter saying they were not awarded. They didn't, because they're for X reasons, and they have they could send us letters back and ask why not.
Okay.
But that usually never happens.
Okay, fair enough.
But I think they were trying to provide an equipment just to give us a lower bid.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no more comments, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Melton, second, Baldwin, that we authorize the city administrator to execute contract with Crossland Heavy Contractors for belt press replacement at the Kill Creek wastewater reclamation facility in an amount not to exceed $442,000. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? recommendation
Thank you.
number 1 passes. Thank you, Gons, appreciate it. Nothing in old business. New business item number 1. Consider adopting a resolution describing the 2020 corporate limits and boundaries of the city of Gardner. Chief Engineer Tim McEldowney. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So yes, at the end of every year, the county requires us to update our city limits. So and we do that by resolution. So what we've done, we've just taken last year is we've added the several new annexations to the legal description and just present that for your approval this evening.
Public comment on new business item number 1. Seeing none, any questions for Tim on this item? I'll entertain a motion on new business item number 1. It's resolution 2077.
Second.
Motion Gregorczyk, second Melton, that we adopt resolution number 2077, a resolution describing the corporate limits and boundaries of the city of Gardner, Johnson County, Kansas, the city of the second class. City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
Councilmember Gregorczyk,
Yes.
Councilmember Melton,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Resolution 2077 passes. Moving on to new business item number 2. Consider adopting a resolution authorizing the construction of certain sewerage system improvements, authorizing the issuance of general obligation bonds to pay the cost of such improvements. Finance Director Matt Wolf, back at the microphone.
New business item number 2 is related to the community recommendation item you just approved. Essentially, this is the financing plan that goes along with that belt press. So this resolution would authorize the use of general obligation bonds to finance the project. The total estimated cost with financing is $455,000, and the future debt service payments would come from the wastewater fund.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. Any public comment on new business item number 2? Seeing none, questions for Matt? I did have one question, and that is from the standpoint of budget. Was this anticipated within the capital improvement plan to make this replacement, or is this something that's being forced on us by the fact that our equipment is starting to show signs of age?
It's been in CIP for years. It's actually delayed into this year, and we've always been planning to use debt issuance for that.
Okay, so this was in the plans all along.
Yes.
Just want to make sure about that. Okay, any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion on resolution number 2078.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Melton, second Winters, that we adopt resolution number 2078, a resolution authorizing the construction of certain sewerage system improvements, authorizing general obligation bonds to be issued in an amount not to exceed $455,000 to pay the cost of such improvements, all pursuant to KSA 12-617 and 12-618. City Clerk.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
Councilmember Gregorczyk,
Yes.
Councilmember Melton,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Resolution 2078 passes. Business item number 3. Consider accepting a voluntary annexation with landowner consent. City Administrator Jim Prudy. Good evening.
Good evening. This is an annexation that I pursued at the end of last year. It's just to the east of Gardner Road, 199th Street. Landowner lives in New York, so it took a while to get back, but this is the hopefully the first of several in that particular area. I did provide the governing body with a map that shows the not only the updated boundaries of Gardner, but the recent annexations for Edgerton to kind of put this in perspective. So been a lot of talk with landowners in that area. We will continue to be aggressive with our annexation efforts, and I'll be reaching out to individual council members in the next couple weeks to talk about some things relevant to that going forward.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Pruding. Appreciate it. Any public comment on new business item number 3? Seeing none, questions? I'll entertain a motion on ordinance number 2693.
So moved.
Motion Melton, second Gregorczyk, that we accept the voluntary consent annexation request of Denise K. Sadler And adopt ordinance number 2693, an ordinance annexing land to the city of Gardner, Kansas. City clerk.
Councilmember Gregorsek,
Yes.
Councilmember Melton,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Winters,
Yes.
All right, ordinance number 2693 passes, and we are done with regular business. Move on to, quick. We'll move on to council updates. Does staff have anything for council's digestion? City attorney.
Nothing for me.
Okay. Finance director.
We're still working on year end, and we hope to have an update for you with our preliminary results in February, and then the audited numbers will come in June.
Great. All right, city clerk.
nothing for me.
By the way, this is just an off-the-wall question that maybe somebody can answer for me, but when are we going to get the final census numbers, and who's that going to be delivered to? Do we know?
Don't have any idea.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah. Okay, 2 to 3 months probably, at least. But
You know the federal government's working on this, right?
yeah, I know.
Add a couple more.
Okay. I'm very interested in seeing what the results of that are. So. All right, city police chief Jay Belcher, thank you.
Nothing tonight.
Wonderful. Good seeing you here. All right, Gons Garcia.
Regarding Grata, we have a pre-construction meeting on Friday for the force main. So hopefully we'll start the project fairly soon.
They're turning a lot of dirt out there, Gons.
That's on the Prairie Trace Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
And regarding the east interceptor, the contractor encountered some rock. But we hope we'll be out of that by the end of this month and progress north.
Okay, great, thank you. Parks and Rec, Jason Bruce.
Nothing this evening.
Okay. I don't see development here. I'm assuming that they don't have anything right now, but they should have some things later on this month, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And Public Works, Mr. McEldowney, how are things going over Public Works?
Well, it's going good, but nothing to report for me.
Okay, great. Well, hey, glad to hear that.
No news is good news.
Absolutely.
So there is one update from
Oh.
that they started working on 188th Street on the west side. They're working on utilities, and the first deadline, contractual deadline for Locust is in July 2nd. So
They're moving fast over there. I see a lot of earth moving going on. So great work. Good job. And thank you also for clearing the roads last week when we had that snowstorm. You guys did a tremendous job again, as always. All right, council have anything for staff? I'm going to start with Councilman Baldwin.
I do not.
Okay. Councilwoman Roberts.
Thanks for asking, but I don't have anything.
Okay. Councilman Gregorsek.
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Council Vice President Melton.
I'm good. This got
Holy
some kind of record,
cow!
right? I haven't had anything in like 3 meetings in a row.
Council President.
Or something in the water.
I'm good. I do want to say I'm liking the audiovisual. It's probably still a little bit of a work in progress, but I like it so far. So great job. Thank you.
Yeah, great work on the part of Charles and staff to get that in. I know that's not easy work, and thank you for your effort. Appreciate it. All right, City Administrator, you have nothing?
No, you already did, maybe.
I did to you? Well, I kind of did, but not really.
No, I don't have anything else.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just trying to drag it out at this point?
No, I'm not gonna drag it out. I'm gonna say, everybody, tomorrow's a peaceful transfer of power. Emphasis on the word peaceful. We hope and pray that the folks at the federal level will keep everyone in the country in mind when they're putting forth their policy positions and recommendations. We wish them the very best and wish good luck to our current president, who's now going to be an ex-president in about 16 hours. That being said, I will entertain a
So
motion.
moved.
Second.
Motion, Gregorsek, second. Melton,
Okay.
that we adjourn. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.